Yay! Hi guys. All right, I'm like gonna give you guys my all today, so I'm sorry for my sickness. This is for you, my dear. Okay, so thank you for doing this presentation. And then just if Jamie calls, he calls me, ask him to come and
Ask him to what?
come and take me across the street to the doctor, because I'm trying to demand to get in, but he's calling them to try and get me in.
Okay.
So otherwise, no, we don't need to call anybody.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here today. I appreciate it. So basically, a little bit about me. Went to Virginia Tech College, graduated, worked in hotels for a little bit in Michigan, and my first job out of college, I was making $31,000 a year. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like so excited, 31,000. I'm like, yes, I'm a baller. I was so pumped and so excited about it. And I was just so grateful for the opportunity. So I worked in hotels, working 60 to 70 hours a week. So once I got into working, I realized that that wasn't really going to cut it in life if I wanted to have more choices and want more and all that. So I started into a direct sales company, which I'm so grateful for because I learned more than I could ever even explain about myself, about personal growth. At one point, I had the opportunity to go to a sales conference that literally costed more than I made in half a month. So half my month went to my rent, you know what I mean, and half my month went to like everything else. So do you see where I'm at? Like a sales conference costs half the month, but there's really not half the month. There was no money there. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a big decision to do that. But I really wanted to leave my corporate job to be able to.
Yeah, I think
I thought I had them there.
want to change your slide. You just
Oh,
do that.
Okay, perfect. And so this sales conference like literally changed my life. So I'm going to show you guys a few things and go over with you guys a few things that I learned from this sales conference. And it's basically in business, it's like the way it's just how you perceive things. And if you change the way you think, you change your income and change the outcome of everything in life. Okay. So basically, let's see. A mistake that most salespeople make is if they trade what they want most for what is comfortable now. So if you're not crystal clear on what you're trying to achieve, then you're not going to achieve like your greatest result. Because what's going to happen is your friend's going to want to go to the beach, or your daughter's going to get sick, or your husband wants to go to lunch or whatever. And of course you want to do those things. But if we do all those little things that distract us from what our plan is and our daily goal, then we'll never have the bigger things in life, if that makes sense. So increasing your clarity, confidence, and conviction by breaking it down to the controllable. Thank you so much. And also, if you guys have heard of the term IPAs before, which is income producing activities. So one thing that really helped in growing my business is having 6 IPAs a day on my to-do list. So IPAs is lead generating, following up with sellers, anything that brings you income. So there's things that you need to do that are not IPAs, like feed your children. I got to make my kids lunch every day. I got to make sure the laundry's done. And my husband keeps saying that we need to hire a nanny, but it's so hard for me because my mom is stay-at-home mom, my sister's stay-at-home mom, and I just want to be with my kids. So time blocking allows me to be a mom and do those things, but also, be a top producer as well. So, whenever you're thinking like, okay, what I'm doing right now income producing, or is it just an activity? If you're like, okay, well, this is not going to bring me income in the future, so I need to focus on the 6 income producing activities in the day. I don't know, did it die?
Your camera's still going up there though.
Oh, it is. Okay, perfect. So I have my schedule up there, and so I'm so grateful for Melissa for putting that together. So thank you. But when you control your time with better systems, you increase your income. And so are you tired of working so hard, but not having the income needed to live a better life? If yes, I'm going to go over, I have all of that today. So you want to develop inspiring vision. So what is your why? So find out what your why is for working so hard. So for me, it's, and I have a picture up there too of my husband and my 2 kids. Like that's my why. And Francine also, and Shelby and Janine also are my why for working so hard. And so you have to know why you're working so hard. So if you don't have a reason, then it's kind of like, well, why the heck am I doing all this? And it puts purpose behind everything that you do. So this is just, and I'm putting this up here. I had Melissa put this up here, not to brag or boast whatsoever, but I want you guys just to see the numbers. So I moved here, let's see, the summer of 2018. I was 7 months pregnant. And July 9th, July 9th, 2018, I started my real estate pre-licensing courses. I had a baby via C-section in August, finished my class, passed the state test. I called BCAR and I went inactive. So I went inactive. And then I wanted to wait till I was finished nursing. It was our last baby, so I wanted to finish nursing my baby and then go from there. So April of 2019, I called Stacy and Liz, who were the brokers at the time, and I said, I want her, pointing to Sarah Turner, as my mentor. So Sarah Turner was my mentor and literally changed so much for me. So I started in April. I went to my first listing appointment in May of 2019, got the listing, sold the listing, and then got another listing a couple months later. But when I came in, I was like, I just want to sell 1 house a year in my neighborhood. That's it. I want to be a wife and a mother. So it wasn't like I had a lot of big expectations. And I'm not going to tell you that all of this fell into my lap, because it didn't. I'm not from here. Like I built all this. So it's not like business comes to me. So I want you guys to think, but what I'm going to go over today is going to show you how you can track everything. So my first year, it looks like 12.5 units sold. And then the second year is 41.5. So Francine did come in the second half of that year. So that's a huge, huge part of that. And then for 2021, our goal is to sell over 75 units. And the goal this year too was to earn 250, and we missed it. I made 249, 133, but that's okay. That's okay.
Only 249, 133.
That's okay. Yeah. So, that just shows like the listing side and the buyer side. And so I had a coaching call with JD's wife, Deborah Pierce, and she went over all of the reports that they have on MyKW, and those reports are incredible. I had no idea they were even there, but it really does allow you to kind of see where you are and help you set your goals and all that kind of good stuff too. So we'll go to the next slide. So basically, when you have your why, then you find out what is most important to you. When you find out what's most important to you, then that allows you to predict set your schedule up. So for me, I remember looking at top producers and being like, just tell me what you do. I just want to know what you do every day, because I want to do that, because I want to have what you have, and so I just broke down my schedule, and obviously there's a little bit of it fluctuates a little bit depending on whatever, but every day I wake up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, not the weekends, usually it's 6:30, but Monday through Friday, no matter what, no matter if I feel like it or don't feel like it, which I don't always feel like it, I'm not gonna lie, but I get up at 5 a.m. Sometimes on days that I list houses, I even get up at like 4:30 or earlier to get all that done before, because what happens is I only have from 5, because then I have to feed the dogs and this and that, so then I only have from 5:30 to then 7 when my kids get up. Okay, so then that hour and a half, no one's calling me. Listing, my sellers aren't calling me, like nobody's bothered. My husband doesn't need me, my kids don't, nobody needs me, and it's like my own time, because once 9 o'clock hits, it's like bam, emails, phone calls, text messages, and it's like so hard to keep up, but you have to have that downtime to be able to do things you need to do. Like, so I work on my listing descriptions, I do any paperwork that needs to get done, I set up my social media posts. I set up text to clients. So for example, I set up all my texts before, but I won't set it out till 9 a.m. because I don't want people to get mad at me. So I basically will have like a list, like text Susie, and then I'll have the exact text. So at 9 a.m. I just go copy, paste to Susie, copy, paste to Jenny, copy, paste to whoever. And so that way, because then once we get the kids, anyone who has kids understand, once the kids get up, it's like pandemonium. Okay, it's like wild. Okay, so my husband and I are juggling them back and forth, which luckily because of COVID, he usually travels, but he hasn't been. So he's been home, which has been really nice. And I think that's allowed me to work more too. So every Monday I do Orange Theory. So also you guys need to find out things that bring you joy, because if you don't have joy, then it's hard to, in this business, you're constantly giving. So if you're not getting it all, then we can't keep giving. So Orange Theory and yoga and family time are the three things that I need to fill my cup to then fill other people's cup. Does that make sense? So I don't know what you need. You need to decide what you need, and whatever you need, then you need to fit it in your schedule and make it non-negotiable. 9:15, I make calls on the way home. On Mondays, the car wash right here is $3. So I think my husband pays the monthly one. It's like $40 a month. I'm like, babe, just go every Monday. It's $3. So I go like every other Monday, because in our business, we have to have a clean car. We can't be having, not that clients come in the car, but at least the outside that much. And so I go every Monday, wash my car, come home, shower, prep lunch. If I don't have any afternoon appointments, I have some back issues, so I like lay down and I do all my computer work. But if I do have an appointment, then I'll kind of get dressed and go. Kids get picked up at 4:30. So that's another reason why I get up so early, because I have family time. And if you have little kids, you understand bed and bath time routine. It's like, again, pandemonium. Like Francine will call me and it's like, it's a zoo at the house. And so, but I want to be present for my kids. So what my husband does in bed and bath time routine, I cook dinner and I'm on the phone with anything, phone calls I have to do, between that time too, while I'm cooking dinner. And then I go to bed at 8:30. So the next day is Tuesdays. So Tuesdays are my office days. I don't do this anymore, but what I used to do, you'll see on here 8 to 12, my first year in the business, maybe it was even first year, I guess, every Tuesday, no matter what. Every Tuesday, except for if I was out of town, which is not often. Every Tuesday, it was a schedule for me, because in this business, you guys, you don't have a schedule. We don't have a schedule. Like, we make our own schedule.
You have to be accountable.
So if you're not accountable to something, then what happens is something else is going to be more important. So between 8 and 12, every single Tuesday, I knew that I had 4 hours where I had to sit down, and I was able to get all my paperwork and do all my that kind of follow-up stuff on the computer. And then, you do get leads in as well. So I did get a couple leads throughout that time also that led to closed business, being on phone duty. And then from 12 to 4, personal errands, whatever needs to get done. Then again, family time, bed and bath time routine. So once a month, I have nighttime appointments. And my husband understands that, but I really try to get a lot done during the working days, because he needs me to be home, and it's nice. I love that my husband wants me there, and so I want to give that to him too. And so I have to give up somewhere else. So where I give up is in the morning. I get up early, so just figure out what's important to your husband or your wife or whatever. So Wednesdays, usually when I say off days, I'm never off. But those are days when I schedule appointments or I run around. I'm usually not dressed, unless I know I'm meeting with a buyer or listing or something like that. And I usually run errands, put signs in the yard, whatever it is, just whatever has to get done gets done. And then yoga, that's changed since COVID. So a couple things have changed since COVID, but this was my schedule when I was growing the business, if that makes sense. And then 8:30 bedtime. And then Thursday, same thing, wake up, start getting stuff done, Orange Theory, which now I'm actually, I just joined a BNI group. So now the Orange Theory is going to be on Fridays instead of Thursdays, but it's still twice a week, because that brings me joy. And to have white orange theory in my life. And whatever you have to have in your life, don't give it up, because you need that to fill your cup. Calls on the way home, get dressed. If I have appointments, great. If not, sit in front of my computer, get stuff done. 8:30 bedtime. Friday, I mean, it's like the same thing every day, but the structure is the wake up time and the things that get done in the morning. And then weekends are just random. I used to do open houses every Sunday. You can see the September 2020, I don't no longer do open houses. We are doing one this weekend because my listing, my sellers requested that we both be there, me and Francine, so we're both gonna be there this weekend. So if you have any buyers that want a beautiful bayfront house, there you go, we'll be there on Sunday. But I'm constantly with my phone, and it's constant. You guys know it's constant, like always. So that's a little bit about the daily schedule. So these are my reasons why right here. My husband and my 2 kids, and then pull up. Where's there we go. Oh, you have my phone. There were some notes. Do you have the other notes on here too that I sent, or no?
Yeah, let me.
Otherwise, I have on my phone. Oh, here we go. Okay. So again, what most salespeople do is they give up what they want most or what is comfortable now, and that's easy to do. Like, let's be honest. Like, it's more comfortable to snuggle with your husband than, in the middle of the day. Like, my husband and I both work from home, and I love just to go to lunch with him every day. Absolutely, but if I do that, then I give up other things, and I have responsibilities, for my team and for my kids, to have different choices in life. And so if you're proactive enough, then you're able to be reactive. Okay, so that goes back to the 6 most important things to do list. When you do those 6 things, IPA, not just 6 things, but IPA, income producing activities in a day, then that's what allows me to turn myself off at 4:30. Not really, you guys know what I'm saying, but like, I make phone calls and stuff. But if I do those income producing activities during the day, then I feel like I earned that time with my family, And so, but if I didn't do anything during the day, then I feel like I didn't earn it. And I can't give all to my family. Like last night, yesterday was just such a crazy day, and I didn't give my all to my family. I'm not gonna lie. It was, I was working throughout everything, and it was hard. But I didn't do what I needed to do during the day because I'm not feeling 100%. And so, but if you do what you do when you're feeling healthy, when you're not feeling healthy, it will all come together, okay? Always prospecting. So literally I'm prospecting all the time. Being in direct sales before this is just a way of life. And so constantly prospecting, and then I'm like, Francine, can you hit another buyer? She's like, yes, I can. So here you go. Here's a pre-qual. Let's go. So constantly, that's got to be in your schedule, which I don't. You guys saw my schedule. It's not in my schedule. It's just part of my life. Does that make sense? So prospecting just needs to be part of your life, and constantly, every day, it's just you just constantly do it. Must be flexible. Must have a good emotional management. So I always talk to Danita about this. Is like, if you're not good here, like, you guys, there's so much freaking drama in this business. Like, it will tear you down. And the longer time you have to have your pity parties, the less you're able to produce for your family. Did I say that right? Okay, so the shorter distance between your pity parties will allow you to then have more abundance in life. So get over it. Like, I'm trying to be nice when I say that, you know what I'm saying? But like the amount of crap you have, like, you guys have an idea because you're in real estate too. It is crazy the amount of like drama and stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. So, but if we're not good here, then we can't be good to keep it all together. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're good here. 6 most important things to do list. That's what I talked about earlier. So making sure it's income producing activities and not just going to the dentist or whatever, that's just something that fits in. Protect your space. Don't allow whiners in your space, only winners. If you don't look up to somebody, be nice to everyone, be nice to everyone. But if somebody is like whining and this and that, or gossiping or whatever, love them where they're at, but you know that you're on a different path. Love them, like don't be mean or anything, just love them where they're at, and then just know that you're only allowing certain people in your space. A lot of times I also just play, so this one of the speakers was Rory Vaden, and he wrote a book called Take the Stairs. And so I have that just playing in the background all the time. So if I'm straightening my hair, or if I'm unloading the dishwasher, or if I'm doing laundry, or Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you guys ever listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad? What it does is it allows you to think differently. And when you think differently, as I mentioned earlier, you produce differently. So fill your brain with things that are allowing you to think differently so you can produce differently. So I'm constantly, my husband's like, what are you listening to now? Because it's always something, but I like doing those things, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but I want to do my kids' laundry and my husband, and you know, I want to do all that. So while I'm doing that, I'm feeding my brain with things. So it's like always learning and always growing. Okay. Let's see, you want to craft your ideal schedule. Make sure you get increased accountability to assure that you are actually following through with your plan. Be introduced to the most, that's actually not, it doesn't have to do with this. Let's see. Top producers are not born, they are made. So just remember that. So return messages is an order of priority. So again, this is not meant to sound mean or anything, but if you have someone who is deciding between you and someone else to list their house, and then you have your grandmother calling you, like, who's going to be the, I mean, I hate to say that to my grandma. I love my grandmother. She's 97. Like, I'll probably call her first. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you have nothing else that's an emergency, you got to put where you're going to make money and provide for your family as the top priority over like your friends saying, what are we doing on the weekend? Does that make sense? So yes, that's important because my husband and our social life is very important to our marriage. So that's important to me, but if I don't get this listing, then our family's not going to have this income to have this different life. Does that make sense? So it's like trying to prioritize the order, and you return everything, but sometimes you return, yes, if you can, yeah, if you just ask him, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so become a master at checking things off your list. Okay, here we go. I never touch a piece of paper twice. Okay? Never. And if you're touching a piece of paper more than 3 times, I mean, such a freaking waste of time. So just, if a bill comes in, boom, pay it right away. Put that in my tax file. If like, I don't know, whatever kind of paperwork comes in, I just knock it out and do it right away. Because the more times you touch that paper, you're going backwards and you're so if you don't check that off your list, you have 50 other things on your list, but then it also backpiles, so then you're like doing all these things and it's wasting time. So time management, just knock whatever you need off your list. Plan your work and work your plan. Have a plan. So every day, she has my phone, I have like a list of things to do, list of things, and then what I do, best feeling ever. So if it's like, let's just say I work with Philip. Okay, he's my buyer. Then I have Philip's name in there, and then I have all the notes, like 12-14, met Philip at an open house, okay? He wants XYZ, okay? Then I keep forwarding that in my calendar until he's actually ready to do something, whether it's list a house or buy a house, but it allows me to know who to follow up with during the day. So I follow up with him, and then he says, I'm still not ready, follow up in 2 weeks. So then I put whatever date it is, let's just say, 1-26, spoke with, he said, call in 2 weeks. And then it goes forward in my calendar for 2 weeks, okay? And I keep the notes, everything under Philip, because what happens, you guys, you're going to be working with so many people. They're like, oh my God. And then you drop the ball and someone else lists the house that you've been working with somebody, but you drop the ball. So not saying you, I've dropped the ball, and the only person I can get mad at is me. So just remember, I never blame anyone else for my success or my failures. It's always what I do or don't do. And so that's something that, and then you forward it out. But if it's something in my calendar, like, you know, my dog has a freaking UTI right now. I'm like, seriously, on top of everything else, it's like we're taking her all these vet appointments. And so that's on my calendar, you know, get the results, figure out the next step. And then once that's done, I can delete that from my calendar. So I like deleting things. So if it doesn't need to be forwarded out, then it doesn't. But if it's like 3 days later, I'm going to get the test results, and 3 days later it goes in my calendar to call the vet to get the test results, you know, or whatever. And that's personal. That's not business. I don't even know why I brought that up. Okay. So if you don't have a plan, then you will allow emotions to run your business. So if we don't have a plan of what to do every day, and I'm not gonna lie, this is emotional. It is emotional. There is like so much because it's people's houses and you're getting involved in people's lives. I always tell Francine, it feels like a breakup sometimes when you're working with somebody and it's like you sell their house and then help them buy a house and you're talking 50 times a day. Then all of a sudden the closing happens. Then you're like, oh, that's kind of sad. Like that, like you're like, okay, but then you move on. You know, I mean, not that side. You're grateful for the closing and everything, but it's like you get so close to them. But if like, so any kind of emotional stuff, like, you know, I have family stuff that goes on, not good stuff, and I compartmentalize. So most people will not even know most of the things. And if I wasn't sick like I was, nobody even know I wasn't feeling well, but it's like I just can't hide it, you know? And so, but most things I don't allow other people to know. So if you're at a listing or buying appointment, even if your grandmother just passed away, your son is in the hospital, whatever, no, I hate to say it like this, but nobody cares what's going on in your life. They want to know if you can get their house sold, okay? So we have to compartmentalize that and not talk about us at all, any negativity, like, oh, I'm great. Okay, so tell me about you. What do you need? And it's all about them. So it's like, so then that's what time blocking. So if you have a listing appointment, making sure that you have that time blocked. Also, I don't know if the team slide was in here at all. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so there was, I want to show you guys, look at this is the last thing and I'll wrap it up. So this is the last thing. Okay, so another thing is delegate. Delegate. And if you can't afford it, if you're saying you can't afford it now, it literally like irks me to hear people say that, because if you can't, it's like that's not how top producers think. Okay, so if you're saying I can't afford it now, then you never will. I'm just, you know, saying like that. So when I first became a real estate agent, I literally did 3 deals and I'm like, I need an assistant. So y'all remember, y'all know who my assistant was, and then now we have a new assistant, but I had my first assistant for a year and she basically did everything that I didn't want to do. I hate paperwork. I'm a people person. Get me in front of people and we're good to go. Get me in front of paperwork and I'm like, I don't get this, you know? So it's just so nice to be able to delegate Shelby and Janine. So Janine does contract to close. Shelby does all of our marketing. If y'all have seen our marketing, it's like amazing. And she does all kind of like the behind the scenes work. So that them being there allows me and Francine to be in the field. You know, and in the field is where you're able to kind of produce more. So learn how to delegate from the beginning of things that don't need to get done by you, but can be done by somebody else that needs to get done still. So I think that's mostly it. Did I miss any slides?
Do you want to do Q&A?
Yeah, so if y'all have any questions, anything I'd be happy to answer.
Anyone have any questions? Chuck, Carrie, Marco, you good?
Thank you, Kira.
You're welcome.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I was late.
Anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Kara. That was very informative. I love it.
Thank you. Yay. And thank you, Melissa, for putting this presentation together. You did such a good job.
Of course.
It's like
Everybody have a good day.
yes, thank y'all.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yay.